So many people say that junior year is the worst, whatever, whatever. I went in, my mindset was I was terrified, which I don't recommend that. But I was scared to go into junior year because everyone says it's like the craziest, the most stressful. When I tell you guys, I had a freaking blast. Are you kidding me? It was so fun. I made the best friends ever. I always had lunch with one friend or another. I had made relationships with the performing arts directors. I'd, made great relationships with my teachers. I was having so much fun in my classes. The doors opened up so much more academically. They let us choose social studies electives. I joined the Social Studies Honor Society chapter at my school. So I did this really cool class. It was like history, literature, and psychology all in one, and it was a double period class. We did so many fun things. We did field trips, which are very hard to come by at my school. We do not do a lot of field trips. So we did like 3 field trips. We did a couple museums in the city. We read a ton of really fascinating and important books that are pretty difficult. Like that class honestly made me feel so much better about myself because the first 2 years of high school, like math was absolutely kicking my butt. The deadlines were like, I just couldn't keep up. And the sickness and being absent was definitely part of that. But also, just like it was so overwhelming. So, junior year, I really felt like I got a grip. I had a lot of fun. My French class did suck, and it's part of the reason I'm not taking French this year. But I did so many fun things. I really took a lot of opportunities. I am not doing swim anymore. Back in 10th grade, I started the swim season actually, and then I quit halfway through and joined the musical, and that was like the absolute time of my life. We did the prom. I'm pretty sure someone told me it won an award. I was in the show and I didn't even know it won an award. But apparently it did. I don't know what award it was, but it was such a fun show. It was so fun. I did not have a lead role. I was just in the ensemble. And I actually made 2 really good friends during that show that I'm still friends with just because, I mean, theater will definitely do that for you if you let it. So I'm so happy that I did that. But back to junior year, I did the fall play, which was really fun. It was this psychological thriller called Trap, which, I mean, it was like so brilliant and yet totally confusing at the same time. And there were like crazy plot holes and things that could be interpreted totally different ways. So it was very, very interesting. So I loved doing that. I had my theater friends. That was super fun. I continued with chorus. I like built a community in chorus. I had my friends. I had a relationship with the chorus director. Like we're good there. Super interesting classes, super interesting social studies. I let myself move down to an enriched math class instead of honors. So that took a lot of pressure off me, and I felt like I actually learned really well. And that math teacher from last year is actually writing one of my college recommendations for me. So I really loved that class. I had a great time, and I made 3 really good friends that I still have. Obviously, it's only a year later, but they were also in my French class, which was horrible. But we bonded over how terrible it was. So there's that. There's really not much to say about my French class. I think my problem with the language classes was just that I want to learn the language. I've been to France twice for 2 weeks each. I did a French exchange where I stayed with a French family, and then my correspondent came here and stayed with my family for 2 weeks each. Um, I feel like I know the culture. Of course, there's always more to learn, but the French class, I want to learn the language. If I wanted a history lesson, I'd take French history. I don't know where you could find that. It's probably a college class somewhere. But I care about the culture if I can't speak the language too. And they try to like have us learning about these current affairs and like problems. And I'm taking a current affairs class next semester. I'm very interested in the things happening around the world. Like I said, social studies nerd over here. I'm in French class to learn French. I want to learn the grammar rules. I want to practice speaking about practical things that I'm going to have a conversation about. I don't want to learn how to say terms that I would never use unless I'm in a very specific field of, science in French. I just would love to understand the difference between the imperfect and the past tense. Please enlighten me. So, French kind of sucked, especially last year, my junior year, because our teacher genuinely just taught us whatever she was interested in. So, it was more like she was learning with us and not that she was teaching us, because she had no clue what she was talking about. And I love teachers, guys. I want to be a teacher. No disrespect to her. She's a wonderful human. She seems very nice. But, I did not like her class. I did not like her as a teacher. I don't know. I had a lot of issues with her, but I'm not going to get into it right now. Just in the classes you don't like, just try your best. Be patient. Remember, it's only 1 year. You'll be okay. I just saw, all my friends from my French class last year on the first day of school this year, and we were like, we never have to be in that class again. We're so happy, absolutely just over the moon, ecstatic. I never have to walk into a French class ever again. And we were like, wow, we made it. We survived. We freaking survived. And yes, we did. Period. Let me see if I have anything else to talk about. Oh, yeah. Good electives, horrible French class. There was zero drama last year. I feel like that was something I was really proud of myself for. There are some people and some friend groups who just can't seem to get out of that middle school gossip loop and the drama. But I was just so happy last year that had literally no drama. It was so nice. And to just have friends that are not talking behind your back. And even if they are, I just got to the point last year where I was like, I actually don't care. I have 1 more year left. I'm going to college. And if I never want to see you again, I never have to see you again. Yeah. And then speaking of college, I also put in there college visits. So I did miss a couple days of school for that, but I was sick a lot less, which was great. And it was really fun to do college visits. It really put in perspective for me. It helped me realize, oh, this school is not forever. These friends are not forever. These communities are not forever. And it made me, it comforted me, of course, for the ones that I wanted to get out of, but it also just made me feel more grateful and try to be more present for the ones that I do really appreciate, because I know that it's not always going to be this way. And then as far as 12th grade, senior year, I don't know, it just started, so there's not much to say. I will say another awesome privilege that my school has is we are allowed to park on campus. So I have my driver's license, as you guys know from last week's episode. Barely got that, but we got it. The real physical license came in the mail, so I don't have the anxiety of driving around with a signed permit anymore. I have the real license, thank God. And I got a parking pass, a senior parking pass. It's right in the little front of the car. We did have to pay a little over $300 for that. So that was crazy. I don't know why. And the thing is, everyone in these towns almost is extremely wealthy. So it's not making these passes $300 stop people from buying them. So it's probably just a way for them to make money off of us, which I don't know. It's fine. The education system needs as much money as it can get. I'm not gonna. I do think it was a little ridiculous to make us pay $330 for a parking pass. Ooh, yeah. But we don't get assigned parking spots, though. So you do have to get there on time to get a good spot, or you will be in the back of the lot or in the side lots because that's just how it works. First come, first serve. So there will be no decorating my senior parking spot, unfortunately. Womp womp. And then besides driving, that's like the only real new change this year. Also, my brother is at the school. He's a ninth grader, so I hope he has a better time than I did. I think it's going well for him so far because he's on the soccer team and he already has a lot of friends. I think joining a sport that you're actually good at is a great way. Or if you're not good at it, at least be on like JV or freshman team. Joining a varsity sport with no cuts when you're the worst one on the team, not a super fun experience. So, anyway, besides that, I just wanted to share, I guess, my goal for this year, which is to just enjoy every moment because, as I said, high school has gone by so fast for me. It's so crazy. And I know that I'm not going to be there forever. This is my last year, and I want to go pretty far away from home for university. So, just knowing that, like, this is my last time living here in this small little town, being with my family and around my brothers and having this like tight knit, awesome friend group. It's not ever going to be the same after this year. So I'm really just trying to hold on to it and be grateful for it every day, be present. Try and hang out with my friends more after school, try and initiate more hangouts, things like that. So I'm so excited. I'm ready to have fun, to be a senior. I, of course, want to be mindful of how I'm carrying myself in school and try to be a role model for the younger kids because high school is really hard. Okay, and then real quick, I also wanted to just touch on the fact that public schools are not created equal. As you all probably know, and you've heard me talking about, yeah, we get parking passes and we have a freaking pool and fitness center practically on campus. And, we get to take field trips, and there are so many international and travel programs. I've done the French exchange trip. I went to Iceland my freshman year for an earth science trip. The Earth Science trip last year was to Hawaii, and I know a lot of people who went to Hawaii. There have been exchanges for Spanish and Latin. I have a bunch of friends who took Latin and went to Italy over spring break last year. I know some people who went to Denmark. There was a Cuba trip. I feel like there was an Ecuador trip or something. I don't know. They offer just so many things. I will be going to Japan this year. I'm so excited. It's a performing arts trip. But we are so lucky. I live in a very affluent and privileged community of majority very wealthy people. So our school is, not going to be the same as some other schools. And here's something I don't understand about high schools, especially doing college stuff. Like, I've been on the Common App, guys. Like, I'm almost done with my applications. All I have to do is like writing stuff. But answering all the questions, they ask you, like, is your GPA on like a 4 scale or a scale of 100? Do you do class ranks? Like, are there quarters or trimesters or semesters? And it's like all this weird stuff that, like, inconsistencies that I feel like, could we not just make all the schools the same? And maybe that's a crazy thought. I mean, just within a state. Like, you don't even have to do it within the country. What I do think is weird, though, is that school breaks don't align. Because what do you mean you're on spring break a month before I am just because we go to a different school? Like, that makes no sense to me. I guess it would be like insane, like crazy, the travel and like the airports and everything if we all had the same break. So maybe that was a dumb idea. Yeah, and traffic and stuff. That would be crazy. But at the same time, it's like we all get a Christmas break and a break for Thanksgiving and you know, um I don't know. There's just some things that I'm like, could we not make them a little bit like, of course, there are universal high school experiences, like walking into the bathroom that always smells like, and all of a sudden it smells like strawberry watermelon pineapple milkshake, and you're like, yeah, someone was just vaping in here. Or like you see the 2 feet or like 10 feet in one stall, you're like, what are you guys doing? Like dealing drugs, making out, like vaping, the options are none of the options are good. Making TikToks, skipping class, like what the are you doing in there? Get one person per stall. Like, and there are people that literally watch their friends pee. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Ew. I'm so sorry. I just cannot get behind that. Like, I get being comfortable with your friends. That's great. And like, okay, peeing in front of each other, like that's fine. But in school, like really? And the gossip sessions in the bathrooms, you guys. Oh my gosh. The amount of tea I've heard when I'm like in a stall and people don't know I'm there and you're just like, tell me more. But also, if you're in high school and you're a gossiper, I stop gossiping first of all. But I also just want to let you guys know if you're gonna do it in the bathroom, there are actually other people that use the toilets. So when there's like other people in the stalls, they have ears, they can hear you. People have voice recognition. They know and they will see you when they walk out of the stall. They'll know exactly who is talking and who you're talking about if you're not careful. So just be mindful about the gossiping in the bathroom because I've heard some things about my own friends, like people I know and could go tell if I so wanted to. And I've like heard people talking about them right, like not in front of my face because they can't see my face, but I'm there. Like I can hear you talking trash about my friend. Like tread lightly, please. So, yeah, just the the bathroom thing, I feel like this year my school finally decided, oh, it might be a good idea to, have working soap dispensers, actual paper towels in the paper towel dispensers, not have them empty and broken all the time. Actual toilet paper that's good quality. We have good quality toilet paper this year, guys. We don't have tissue paper for toilet paper. It's actually a miracle. I don't know what changed their minds, what convinced them that this is a priority, but I am here for it. As somebody who drinks a ton of water and therefore has to go to the bathroom multiple times a day, I'm so grateful for whoever decided to make bathroom like cleanliness and operations a priority this year. I think my senior year might be the best just for that. Our bathrooms are on point this year. But in past years, it was like a miracle if you hit like toilet paper in your stall, soap in the soap dispenser, a working sink, and paper towels, or a working like I don't like to use the air like dryer thingies for your hands. I like to use paper towels. So when there's no paper towels, I'm like absolutely tweaking and then I'm walking in the hallway like shaking my hands out. I've actually had a teacher mock me in the hallway once for shaking my hands out. I'm sorry, I don't want wet hands and I don't want to dry them on my pants because I don't want freaking water handprints on my jeans. So I'm like shaking my hands out. And this teacher, this grown man walking in the hallway, makes eye contact with me and is like, I'm like, well, excuse me. Would you like to go stock up some paper towels in the women's bathroom on the third floor? Thank you. What the I was like, that was so rude. So, whatever. Anyways, if you have bad bathrooms at your school, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I mean, they just changed it this year. It used to be bad and it was not that bad. There are places that are so, so much worse. I'm well aware. But just like it really boggles my mind that the school like cultures can be so different. It doesn't, I mean, it's not that surprising because if you think about it, these public schools are just a manifestation of the area in which they exist. And one last thing I want to say is there not a way for them to like offer the same courses, even just talking like within a state? Because I understand like making every single school have the same courses is kind of crazy. But you're telling me that my friend over, you know, 2 towns over, their high school offers them like 10 AP social studies classes and my school has 0? How is that fair? Like, if I wanted to take like AP US history, I have to take it online, fully online. Like, there's no classroom teacher, like, room of kids all taking it together with the goal of passing the AP test at the end of the year. Like, there's none of that. It would be so much better if they did it that way, where like just all the AP courses were the same. But at the same time, I understand why that can't happen because this is just me like thinking in real time. I'm like totally off topic at this point. But if there are so many APs in the system of the college board that like it's not really plausible for there to be classes of each AP offered at every single school cuz districts don't have enough teachers for that. They don't have enough classroom space for that. So I actually do understand why you can't just have, cuz then that would be adding like I don't know 50 more classes to the curriculum and you can't just like do that. That's not how that works, I feel like. And I guess my guess is that the way schools choose to offer is maybe they like choose one and see how it does. And if there's not a lot of shown interest in it, maybe they stop running it. And so in my school, that makes sense because we're very much a STEM focused school and also a sports school. So that means the performing arts gets neglected and so do the humanities and especially the languages, but also English. Social studies, they just started offering honors credit for social studies this year, my final year. They finally decided, oh, wait, maybe we should give them an option for honors credit for these extremely difficult social studies courses that these teachers have been teaching like it's an honors class without the students being able to get honors credit. Excuse me. I mean, I'm glad they did it before I left, but still, like, are you kidding me? Couldn't have done that a little bit earlier. So there's that. It's very interesting because I'm much more interested in humanities studies, and I'm also much more a performing arts person than I am an athletics person. So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not in the popular crowd, that's for sure. The one thing I will say about my school culture that's kind of interesting is because I think most of us come from families with parents who are like extremely successful, the pressure of like an expectation of all of us like being very high achieving students academically and, you know, in whatever extracurriculars we decide to do, the competition at this school and like the culture of if you're not smart, like you're not valued, you don't matter. Like if you're not taking the highest level class that you could, you are looked down on. It's kind of wild. It's really wild. Like, I'm so sorry. Not everybody wants or can go to college, but everyone's just like, work, 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 work. And they still, I don't know how people at my school do it. They all seem miserable, if I'm being honest. The people who seem to be doing it all and seem to have it all and like have the excellent grades, like high achieving academically, high achieving in their sports, like going to states every year, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, there is no way that you guys are happy. Like, I just can't see it for the majority of them. Of course, there are people who are just absolutely built different and they're just gonna be that way. But for the majority of the school to be on the outside looking like they have it all together is crazy because there's absolutely no way that that's true. And we're all equally stressed. And we all know, like, when I'm looking across the room and I'm like comparing myself to that other person, I know they're also comparing themselves to me. Like, we're all in this like craziness together where there are these expectations that somehow after school we're doing sports, doing our extracurriculars, like practicing our instruments, whatever it is, then we're also getting all our homework done to the best of our abilities, like absolutely flawless, like every answer right, best effort every single day. And then we're also somehow supposed to be getting enough sleep to function the next day and be fully engaged in class, not 1 minute late, like in the classroom before the bell rings. School starts at 8 a.m. and these kids are going to bed like past midnight, like in the morning of the next day. It's just crazy. And I don't know what changes we could possibly make, but I feel like the way that the system is going, where like there's such high expectations and the college application process is like if you're not absolutely killing yourself doing everything you can to fit in a box, then you feel like you have no hope of, getting into the school that people want you to get into or whatever, or you feel like you need to get into or you should get into. That brings me to my last section, which is advice. So this is going to be for underclassmen or people going into high school, maybe just starting high school, or maybe you're an eighth grader and you're going to start high school next year. My first part of this advice is a little bit about prepping for college. And what I mean by that is I feel like as soon as people step into the walls of their high school, there's this buzz about like, oh, I'm doing this for college. I'm doing this for college. I'm doing this so that it looks good on college applications. I'm doing this because it looks good for colleges and this because it looks good for colleges. If you don't want to do something, or if you're doing something for the sole purpose of putting it on your college application to look good to a college, do not do it. I'm telling you, if it's something you truly enjoy, be my guest. Do it. Like, I know plenty of people who every summer they do programs at universities, studying what they want to study, whether they want to go pre-med or they want to do business or economics. There's always opportunities for people in my area. I've said my community is extremely privileged for the most part. So when I talk about the things that people do and the opportunities we have, it's if you don't do them, it's like we're all expected to do it because it's available to us. And if we don't, like we're seen as, lazy and unmotivated and things like that. I've chosen to spend my summers with children. I've chosen to spend my summers at a camp working with kids because that is what I love and what I'm passionate about. I'm not going to study, I'm not going to do an economics program at Harvard or a law program at Yale. Like, that's not what I'm interested in. So I'm not going to do it. And, I didn't have a lot of time in my freshman year and my sophomore year. I was sick a lot. I was just trying to keep up. I was dealing with a lot of mental health problems. And there are kids next to me hitting like 100 volunteer hours. I'm like, how are you doing this? But the thing is, I've hit all my required volunteer hours only doing things that I'm really passionate about and genuinely interested in. So that would not be like picking up trash, which I understand for some people. Picking up trash is important. I would never litter. I hate seeing litter. If I pass trash on the street, most of the time I'll pick it up. I'll be honest, obviously not all the time. There are some things that I hope nobody would touch unless they have like gloves on or like one of those pinchy thingies, you know what I'm talking about, with like the pole and the pinchy thing. Anyways, not the point. I hate being outside. So anything that's like yard cleanup, like mow this person's lawn, or like pick up leaves, collect trash from the soccer fields, like those volunteer opportunities are not for me. But things like organization events at a Cradles to Crayons, or volunteering my time to work as an unpaid camp counselor, volunteering to help with hair and makeup for a show, or stage transitions for a band concert, or some things that I'm actually interested in, I know how to do, I enjoy doing. Volunteering to do face paint for kids at a community event, things like that. Those are things that I've done that I would do, that I'm actually interested in. So don't kill yourself trying to do things that you don't want to do just because you think it will look good. I promise if you focus on what you're interested in, colleges will appreciate that. They want to see who you are. They don't want to see everyone doing the exact same thing. I personally don't know many, I'm not going to say anyone, I don't know many other people who have held a part-time job for 4 years straight that directly correlates to what they want to do after high school and for their career after college. I have. That is something I chose to do, to be a ski instructor. That's teaching and working with kids and skiing, but that's not part of what I want to do necessarily when I'm older. And I've done that. This is gonna be my 4th season working at the mountain that I work at. Other people spend their time totally differently. They spend their time working to become a D1 athlete and be recruited by a school, working to prepare themselves for auditions into prestigious, theater and music programs at universities across the country. If you see a go-kart driving around the property outside the window, that's my 14-year-old brother. Just so you know. Don't mind him. He's cool. But as I was saying, the thing with college is just people get so stressed trying to fit themselves into a box that they think these colleges are gonna like and that these colleges have for them. I don't know any admissions people personally, but I can only imagine that all they want from us is honesty, and they want to see who we are, and we can show that through what we do. My point is just find things that you're interested in, commit to them. Commitment is really important. Put your time in. Find your passions and just go for it. Don't look back. The, struggle between should I do this or do that? Which one looks better? No. Which one do you like more? Unless you are trying to get into like the top 1% of schools, just let yourself breathe. And I promise, I've been to college events where there are super successful people sharing about how they didn't get into any of their schools and they went to community college and they still ended up here in like a better place than they could have ever imagined. Or they got into a school they didn't expect and they chose it over their dream school that they thought was their dream school, but they didn't get into it. So they went to this different school and they liked it better than they think they would have liked their dream school. Or, all these stories. I just really think that everything happens for a reason. And wherever you end up, that's where you're meant to be. And some people have not good college experiences. I'm just speaking from like in high school, I think it's really important to just try to get to know yourself before college. Try to have the experience of forming strong bonds with your peers and finding communities because you're really going to need that skill in college, being able to find communities that you feel comfortable in and that you can have, fun in and feel safe in. Obviously, I'm not in college yet, but I just think too many people spend so much time trying to mold themselves to fit like a college's standards. And I really don't think that that's worth your time whatsoever. But I would say to always try your best and put in your best effort because high school is permanent and colleges do see what goes on. So, for example, my sophomore year, 10th grade, I decided that I just didn't want to go to college. I thought, no, I'm not going to go to college because I already have 2 jobs. And I mean, they're teenager jobs. They're not, I mean, I do work with quite a few adults, but they're both seasonal jobs, so it's not like I could live off of that. I was just being naive, but I was like, well, if I have these 2 jobs already and I'm only in high school, I don't need a college degree. Meanwhile, I've wanted to be a teacher my whole life, so I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I don't need to go to college. Yes, you do. And college is not for everyone. Don't get me wrong. College is not for everyone. But my parents changed my mind at like the end of the year and beginning of my junior year. By that time, it was too late for me to change all the times that I skipped a homework because I thought, oh, it doesn't matter. I don't want to go to college. Or, I couldn't change that one test I didn't study for that brought my grade down 10% just because my thought process was, oh, well, it doesn't matter because I don't want to go to college. You could change your mind. So just always try your best. And I feel like not a lot of people are gonna be like that for the most part. I feel like people go into high school knowing where, at least what sort of like category they're gonna be in. Like, I'm going to go to a school that I have to pay pretty big tuition for and like really get in, and the application process is gonna be hard, or I'm gonna stay at home and go to community college because I have this, that, and the other responsibility at home, or I just don't want to go far and I'm not interested in wasting all my money on an education that I could just get at a community college, or you're in the boat of, yeah, a high school diploma would be nice, but I don't necessarily need a college degree for what I'm going to go into, and it's not worth wasting any money or any time trying to get a degree that I could do without. So most people are like, they know their financial situation, they know, I mean, not necessarily what they want to do, but I feel like most people know what they don't want to do for sure. But still, whatever category you're in, just know you could always change your mind. So, yeah, just always try your best, always work hard. Okay, yeah. So, my main advice in terms of if you're going into high school with the college mindset and everything is for college, just remember you're only in high school for 4 years. Enjoy this time. You're not going to have another opportunity like it. It's sort of like just practice for college in a way and practice for life. You have to learn how to get organized, really lock in and learn how to study. You got to learn your habits as a student to manage if you're going to go to college. You need to learn how to ask for help because in a big high school, like public high school, you can get really left behind if you don't know how to ask for help and you don't know how to take initiative and you don't know how to advocate for yourself. It is so, so, so important. When I finally got over my ego and was like, yeah, I need help, changed my whole experience. Like, you really, really, really need to get right in there, being like, hey, teacher, can we meet at this time? Hey, guidance counselor, can we meet at this time? Hey, extra help resource that I've never used before. I'm going to use you now. That sort of thing. I mean, at some point, of course, it's gonna be like a work with what you have, but do that. Work with what you have. Don't sit on your butt because it's not gonna do anything for you. It's really not. And my experience has always been like, it's not really a pick your battles, but it's definitely a game of prioritization. So if you have, say, total homework load that's going to take you 3 hours, but you only have 1 hour before you hit the mark of like the amount of sleep I get after that is like the minimum amount of sleep that I need to function well and productively the next day, you have to look at your homework and be like, you have to be like, which teachers are nice graders, which teachers take late work, which teachers are super strict, which teachers will take 10 points off the first day if you don't turn your work in. And it's like, which teachers don't even check homework. Whoop, you're going to have to skip the homework for that day if you're going to want to be able to function at the level that you are required to survive high school life the next day. So, going to bed is super important. I know friends who will be like coming into school with their coffee and their eyes are like barely staying open, and they're like, I went to bed at 2 a.m. last night because I was finishing my project so it could be perfect. And then we get the same grade. I didn't stay up that late. You gotta get organized. You gotta have a system. And props to them. Like, I didn't mean that as an insult in any way. If you stay up late and that's just how you work, okay. But I'm talking like, you know yourself, you know your own body. If you are actively making a decision to stay up late on your phone, doing optional work, whatever, you're definitely going to regret it the next day. I don't know if you'd really regret it long term, but in my experience, I am always happier and feeling a lot better than my peers who don't get as much sleep as I do. And then, last but not least, creating relationships with friends and your social environment and having good communities like that is very important. But I'd say even more important is creating good relationships with your teachers. Your teachers really, really shape your high school experience. And when you have to ask them for recommendations, you need teachers on your side. You need these people to be able to help you and support you. And I promise, when you make good connections with your teachers, there is nothing like it. It could be the most boring content ever, but if you like your teacher, that makes all the difference. I have teachers who have written me multiple recommendations for multiple different things, who like sing my praises from the rooftops, and I love them to death. It just makes your experience so much better to be able to like wave at them in the hallways, say what's up. When they, retire and come back, I get so excited when a teacher who's left like comes back to visit the school, and I'm like, "Oh my God, how are you? Like, this is what I've been doing." I'll be messaging them, emailing them like, "Hey, what's up? How's retirement? How's your new job? Blah blah blah." And they're like giving me advice and all this stuff. And it's just so fun to have those relationships. And I think it is good practice to form as many good relationships in high school as you can with your teachers, because in college, I feel like it's a whole nother level of difficult to form good relationships with your professors. But I've heard that it makes all the difference. And based on my high school experience and the classes that I've had a good relationship with my teacher versus haven't had a good relationship with my teacher, I feel like I can see how it would work the same way in college. And even it's just can be as simple as saying hi to them when you walk in the room, thanking them when you leave the room. Sending them an email. Communication is key. Sending them an email that doesn't just start right away with your issue that you need them to fix, but like a hi, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Maybe I hope you had a good weekend, or, have a good weekend, sign off at the end. Anything like that, just little things. Yeah, that's my main advice. Also, like everyone says this, it's not like I'm saying anything new. I'm just, as a senior, I've been through it. I'm telling you, all of it is true. Like when they tell you to enjoy it because the years go by so fast. I just volunteered at my school's orientation for the ninth graders. It's like a whole day, like a whole event. And they have us do all these things with them to get them prepared for the first day of school and finding their classes and going through the bell schedule and blah, 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 blah. And they told the kids at the beginning of the assembly that high school goes by really fast and they should enjoy it and it'll be over before they know it. And I overheard these ninth grade girls, they were saying, like, it's not going to go by fast. It's 4 whole years, blah, blah, blah. And I kept to myself, but in my little brain, I was just thinking, like, oh boy, they do not know what they're getting into. I was like, they don't know what they're talking about because, of course, I thought the exact same way. I did not believe a word when the adults were telling me time's gonna absolutely fly by. But that's another thing that as I've grown, and it started during high school, I swear to God, time has been moving at like lightning speed. And as I've gotten older every year, I feel like it moves faster and faster and faster. So that's another thing. I know everyone's probably telling you time goes by super fast, enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, sure. But if you do it right, you find your community, you really try your best to branch out, to advocate for yourself, to find new friends and new activities, new passions, new interests, and old passions and old interests. Just like delve into these things, immerse yourself in the things that you love to do because this is your last opportunity. High school is your last opportunity to do that with this level of support from a community that most of us have known for a while. So really, really try to enjoy it. And remember, it is what you make it. Because let's think back. My ninth grade year, horrible. Why? My mindset was, this is gonna suck. I can't make any new friends. Nobody likes me. No new friends. As soon as I switched it up, I want to make some new friends. I'm sure there are some people that would want to be my friend, and let's try this super fun, awesome musical that I now had the time of my life in, and I think about every day and wish it was still happening and wish I was still on that stage. Like, once you do those things and once you switch your mindset to, no, actually, I'm going to take over control of my life, I'm going to do what I want to do the way I want to do it, things get so much better. And of course, I understand life is not that simple and everybody's different. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. Um, and yeah, if you're going into ninth grade, of course, or any other grade in high school and you're looking to the future, my biggest advice to you is just to flip your mindset because a mindset can really change so much. At least it did for me. And I just wanted to end this episode by saying that wherever you are in your life, whether you're looking forward to high school, going through it, at the end of it, just got out of it, or looking back, I don't know, 20 years on it, I'm really rooting for you all, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. See you next time.